Hey everyone, and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, and welcome back to Errors. We're hanging out in our beautiful pastures here, watching the passenger train go by. Today we're going to do a whole lot of farming. We're going to generate a new industry where we start producing cows, and the majority of the episode is going to be making a farmyard. So let's scroll over to where that's going to be. So we'll need to turn some graphics on. Last time we put in this yard, this cargo drop-off area for here, which is used by Riverpool and the river yard. And there is a track around the outside, and it goes down here. And we pretty hastily just dumped down some industries to represent what's going on. So the wheat will go over to here as livestock. Livestock comes here, turns into meat, and then the meat gets added to paper to make food. And I've been thinking about it, and I would like a little bit more movement in the land. So what I'm thinking is the wheat will still be over here, but it will come down the line and come in and then actually go into a cattle yard, and then cattle will come out. And so I'm actually going to flip this one around, and so we can do this with the industry expander mod. So rather than livestock being the out, we'll have wheat and then the livestock coming out, and 100 is fine. And I assume that will be in okay position. We can always play with that. And then the opposite is going to happen is it's going to come out, and then I'm going to actually put the processing over here. I might delete this, I don't know, but I know I want to have the livestock over in this corner instead. And for now, we'll just say that they are changing the beef into raw materials. So I think the first thing to do is get a train line over here. I'm actually going to downgrade the train line. I've got this lovely mod by JK that has rusty rails. And what I'm going to do is probably most of this yard over here. I'm actually going to downgrade around here. It's like a, whoops, I don't mean developer mode. Get a nice rusty thing because it doesn't get used much. I probably could downgrade some of this as well. I might just make it so I downgrade the last bit, but yeah, let's use that rail. And I think we can just continue around. And I do like this berm because there's a water here. I like the idea that this is like a protection for overflow of the water. So I'm actually going to deliberately keep that. And we'll go over here. So if I do nice long stretches, I might actually go up a little bit. And around the corner, I'm not overly worried about speed here. Go something like that. And continue on. Straight looks pretty good. Let's go. I don't want to see this area here. I don't want to do that. I'm going to come over this way a little bit, so we don't have to do any infill. And then we will come into here. Actually, am I way too high? How's this working? Yeah, it looks like I actually gained some height there. So what I might do is if I dock it against the road like that. How's this going to work? Yeah, like this. It means that when we cross the road, it'll be nice and flat. As you can see there, it's... If I get the trees out of the way, it looks pretty good. I actually might bring that up a little bit. Can I bring it up a little bit? If I go past... Yeah, is it going to be weird? It's going to be weird. So what I'm going to do is build it at grade. And then we'll just fix that road so it touches that nicely. And a bit of road action. Touch it onto there. And touch that up there. And I think that worked out pretty good. I think that's semi-realistic. All right, let's get this into the yard. I think I'm going to go kind of parallel with this as far as the station's concerned. Probably not going to make the biggest station in the world. Probably something like that. And yeah, let's do some flattening. I think that's going to make our life a little bit easier, because a lot of the assets to do with like farm buildings and stuff do like to be on a flat surface. And we might have to move this guy. We'll see how it goes, but you know, we can just hide that by saying there's a mound of dirt there or something. All right, let's get the farm in, or the farm, I should say, the station, and the farm station. So we're going to use what's going to be cargo. And I think we can just use a generic platform here because we're going to modify it a fair bit. And yeah, we'll start with 1 track. I think 120 should be fine. And obviously no reason for catenary. Actually, it's going to be the wrong track type anyway. We can't choose the rusty rail here. So yeah, I think we're going to end up doing a huge amount of deletion anyway. So let's get rid of, yeah, actually most of it. And downgrade that to rusty. And now we're going to use these Mad Hatter platforms. And so Mad Hatter has, I think we should be able to find it pretty easily. Under Mad Hatter. And what are you going to be called? Is it going to be this one? Cattle Pen, I think it is. Is this it? Yep, the Cattle Pen mod. So let's just make a very farm-esque place. So yeah, let's do that. We want the, I think we want the ramps on the far side. Yeah, so we want, I think we want the cattle to come up this side and like that. And what I want is to augment this because we need to get grain into here. So we are going to have that turn up. It's going to be not a loading side, it's going to be a dropping off side. So I'm going to use one of these half width ones because we don't really need, do we need a width? I think that keeping it narrow would look pretty good. The only thing that means is we may not be able to use like this type of cover. Oh, yes, we can. There's a half height cover that works, and we can just go like that and have a little bit of shade. And now I think we get to have fun with a whole lot of diorama stuff. Let's give this guy a name. We're going to call this Liverpool Livestock, I guess, because that's what it produces. And yeah, let's get going. This thing will have to touch, but I'm pretty sure we can organize that. Let's start by giving this cattle thing a way of getting on. So I know these can come on, but there's also a lot of assets available to like build it yourself. So under cattle pens, I don't think we wanted to put that on the other side. No, we can do our own little ramps. And so what I'm thinking is there is, yeah, like segments. Let's say there, and there, like, you know, the left hand side of that, the right hand side of that, in the middle. And we'll rotate this so it's kind of square and then drop it in the ground. I don't think there's a reason to change the scaling. We can change the scaling over here, but I don't think we need to. And we'll go up a little bit. And what I want to do is kind of represent that the pens of cows in front of us can be moved up onto the property. So Mad Hatter has under here, under gates, it does have a nice wooden gate, as well as the cattle gate. So where's the cattle gate? What's that look like? So yeah, that's probably better up there. And so if we make it a bit wider, how big is that? Yeah, and then we can lift it up. And what I'm going to do is just fabricate the idea that there's an extra little area there. Get the lot of micro movements. Now I can't get rid of that the rail in front of it, unfortunately, but as long as I do this, I think that the optics of it will look fine. And so yeah, we've got a way of getting animals up there. So let's make some pens and put some cattle in it. Fences. What type of fence do I want? Something probably very wiry. And so what I should do is probably put in fences before I do that, so that way I don't have to work out, you know, where the fence goes to and from. So who's got a good fence? I think, did I see one under Mad Hatter then? Under cattle pen? There was this one. We could repeat that. That probably makes sense, actually. Let's repeat that. and that one, and that one. So mental note: 160 and 100 is the numbers. I don't think we'll have to do more than that. And out of interest, if I use these, looks like the rotation's a little bit off. So let me try that again. If I put that there, and if I bulldoze this at a single element, it is. So it's going to be a little bit finicky, I'm guessing. But you know what? That actually may work quite well. I don't think it's going to be critical that this is correct. It's just going to set the right vibe, right? And you know what? I kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then we'll go symmetrical and do it at this end as well. But I'm going to change to more of a fence now. So I'm going to go these ones, and we'll come out a fair way. And I'm just using left and right on the keypad here, so that way it stays like on the grid and without moving my mouse or anything. And I think that will do for some pens. And then we'll use these same ones to split this up. So we'll make these quite big. Do that mode. And that can go there. And we'll do another one in here. So now we're going to have to deal with the actual logistics of this thing. We can do that pretty easily by using the invisible roads mod. So I'll just use this small one. And I should be able to fake this somehow. So narrow. Why are you being like that? So let me press C for custom. There we go. And you know, if it's going to be like that, I think I should be able to run this, holding down C, I should be able to run this all the way down there. And okay, build anyway. And that will give us a very solid surface. What was that? Why are you being so weird? So yeah, I think we've got a weird thing there. I think we can hide that pretty easily though. We can choose what do we want? What can we use? What should we use? Well, the other option is just to get rid of that road and just not do that. And you just do this again. Hold down C, and I think that should work. So, oh, they haven't worked. So let's use the dev mode. Oh, that worked, but this side didn't. I think we may have to configure it by putting in one of these. So if we just hide that there we go. So now you can see the purple there, across there, and then that's gone across there. And we have, turn that off again. Ours connected to there. Oh, the other option, we could just move this stupid thing. We could just do that. Let me move this. This is ludicrous. We're actually causing ourselves problems for no good reason. Let's put down the industry again. So it was number 2, and we are taking in grain, which is, I always think it's at the bottom, but it's at the top. And out comes livestock. And so tiny stockpile, and you know what? You can be right there. And so, are you kidding me that doesn't work? All right, we'll just do a, you know what? I'm going to do a real road back here. We'll do like a dirt road. And that should work. No? Come on. You are just being problematic. Okay, so maybe I have to do this. Yeah, we'll do this. That kind of works anyway, because it looks like the... Oh, actually, I don't want to go over the train line. Let's get the train line in. Actually, the other thing, I need to put the train line there. Oh, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. So you come out horizontal. You get configured. I want tracks. This is for the wheat. And you come out straight as well. And maybe I put that in the worst spot possible. I should have put it over here. Bit of folly, but there we go. So that's working quite well. So go down into the ground. There we go. Right about there. And okay, that's our spot. And that now actually works. All right, let's work out how this train's going to work. So obviously we're going to have a way of doing a U-turn. Out of interest, if I tell it to be flat, that's a 180. Keep on going around. Let's kind of keep it flat. Come over here. And I think that should be okay. Do we want to make this the end of the line, or do we actually want to have it as someone who's visiting? I think I actually might make it as someone who's visiting. And what I mean by that is this comes off by default and goes this way and then services the farms around the corner there, and then this guy is just joining on for their own little purposes. Yeah, that's cool. And then and then we'll split off here, and then the question is, can we get this corner done? I think we should be able to get in here. I think that's going to be okay. Okay, yeah, I liked it. Whew, okay, not the best, but I think that'll do. All right, so let's do some texturing first. No, we probably should put down buildings first. So let's make sure that everything is level on this side. I don't remember how far out I came, but we want to make sure that everything out here is level. And let's get having fun with some farm stuff. So I've been downloading a whole lot more. Mainly I think the stuff that's useful is over here on the right hand side-ish area. This is all industrial stuff, so I don't know if there's much in here. Maybe tree stumps. Actually, that's kind of interesting. We could put some tree stumps around, and it can represent that this area had to get logged to make space for this. And we'll get rid of that mistaken bigger one. Yeah, that works pretty good. And we can then just use the global brush, turn off these bottom two. The collision can be on for now. And yeah, we can just do that. And that kind of gives us an idea of our boundary of what we're working on. And then the very low strength, we still have a couple of trees that need to get logged in there. All right, that's that one. So that was this one. I don't think there's much more in here that is useful. Maybe some buildings or something that for some reason over there in the forest. But yeah, that's all. That can be done later. All right, industry stuff. I don't think anything here is small enough for a little family farm. Yeah, that's all kind of big industry. Farm mod, this is where we're going to go well. Let's start off with the farmhouse, which is this one. And I think I might kind of put them near the front here because they're kind of like gating who comes into the property. And I gave it enough space to get a road down. So I'm going to get a road into here. It's a bit close, but that's fine. And we need a way to get out. So let's do this. You can stay level, please, because it makes it easier. And you can come across level as well. And then that can go kind of this way and around the property. Now that road's probably a little bit big for this type of situation. But that looks okay. And then we'll take this along the edge of the train track up to there. Yeah, I think that's a nice hard edge. I think that makes sense. Lots of space for machinery and stuff. What's this thing? This thing is, what did you say you are? You're a dairy. I think it'd be interesting to build up the cow situation on this side, where we're going to role play that this farm is both a dairy and a cattle breeding place. And yeah, I think that would be kind of good out here somewhere. I want to make sure there's enough space for the cows to come around and get kind of like roamed. This is greenhouse stuff, not really appropriate. What are you? You are a big shed. What type of thing do you have? You're just a big shed. Okay. We'll keep that in our back pocket. Barn. I don't think this is really a barn type place. Also, I think the scale's a bit off. And this is, what are you? That's something too modern. Alright, this is like a little shed where people keep their workers and stuff, or their machinery. So let's put that over here. I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger. And yeah, I might move that road. Yeah, I think that works, because that way that road can come through. I do know that over here on the right hand side there's some tractor options. So let's put a tractor in here, and we'll put the second one in there as well. And that road can come across. Alright, so that was this one. So we've kind of done that. House we did. That's another house. Too big, too big, too big. What are you? You are a pigsty. I don't think we'll do that. We might skip that one. What's this one? Oh, this one looks good. So this is just a big shed, but it looks like it's something where animals and stuff could be. I'm tempted to really dig into that and use it a lot. If I center that there, do I want it to be 100%? Maybe 110%. Actually, if I do it like 100 and 100, we probably can get one per one of those. And hopefully, if this whole area is pretty even, we can get these to touch each other, and it should look pretty good. Wow, this is really hard to get correct. There we go. It's more of a when you see it, click it thing. All right, we'll have to get rid of some of these trees. And you know what? It got trees in here. Actually, that one's pretty empty. Anything more to clean up? There's one over there. And then that one, that one, that one, that one. All right. There's probably more in there, but it doesn't really matter. And done. So yeah, I think that looks good. All three of those. And then we'll put some gravel or something down. All right, what's we got? We've got this one we've used a fair few times. And is that it? What was this thing? This one looks very industrial. I like the idea of using this a bit more, like at the either end of the platform, to kind of like control what's going on. Maybe if I get the rotation right, I'm trying to kind of make that line up with all this stuff. Yeah, I'm actually going to put one there and another one like this. And I think that gives it kind of like an industrial feel. And yeah, I think that works pretty well. So we're definitely going to be getting a lot of bales and stuff, like more straw is going to come in. I have a mod. Hopefully it works. It does say that It's available on transportfever.net. The reason I got the mod is this one. Is it lets me get hay bales, and so I think these things are going to get fed by hay bales a lot. It is surprisingly hard to find hay bales, and so so I went searching, and I think this is going to look pretty good if we just sprinkle some bales around, busily being delivered across the property. So I'm going to put some there and there, and and then what we should do is do this elsewhere as well. So if I close down that and open it again, it should drop it down to the right height. It does. And so I'm going to put some there, and we'll sprinkle these round. Hopefully it's not too uniform, but I think that looks a little bit better, and it kind of explains the situation. All right. So talking about hay bales, we need somewhere to store hay bales, and so I think we've gone through here. There's not much more. This is fences. This is all train stuff. Ingo, I think, is our last chance, unless Mad Hatter has something. So under Mad Hatter's cattle stuff, I think we've done everything there is, apart from cows and horses. The pens are too small, but I am tempted to sprinkle a couple around. Some type of holding pen, and same thing goes with this end. I don't think we need it. And fence, posts, ramps, steps, bases are underneath this thing, I guess. Yeah, so we can try to. Oh, that's a weird base color. Okay, I don't know if I like that color. It's like, I think getting it the right size as well might be problematic. I'm not sure what that's for. That's weird. So that's the cattle stuff, but there is also the farm stuff. Do you have anything in here? Yeah, like a hay barn, right? That's kind of interesting. So I'm tempted to put this on this side and use it to store some of the stuff that comes off the train. So I think that worked well. Cart shed, chickens, cow shed. Okay, there's another interesting one. So maybe we can also put some cow stuff on this side. That is a walkthrough. And I'm actually tempted to. I'm going to get rid of this far left one, and we'll put this here, and then we can push stuff around. And what I'm going to do is change. Where was that big one? Is that the same thing? It's just it was just the size. Just the size. Yeah. So I'm thinking, as they go out into the pastures, this is them being kind of controlled. And so let's put this thing on that side. Yes, my plan is to make this field here also a cow field, and so we need a way of kind of like walking through. And I think that works okay. And then we can have fun with this guy and single round bales. I can hide one in there. I think sprinkling those around is going to work quite well. Yeah, I think that will work. I think in general, when you talk about this game, is the more the better. The more you have sprinkled around, the better off you are. And so what I need to do, I really wish this had an option where it was like 2 layers high. That would be cool, but it doesn't. So I was going to put how do I want to do this? Because there's one too many. I think I'll just fake it and do that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. All right, so that was that one. Blah, 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 blah. Mad Hatter, you're the one saving us right now. So that's the cattle pen stuff, and then now we're looking at the farm stuff. Cart shed, chickapooth, cow shed. We did that. A granary. So what's that look like? I don't think that's really what we want. No. Piggery. They're in farms, stables, blah blah blah. Cattle feeder. Cattle feeder we could probably play with and put one in each of these. And I don't know if... Is it this guy? There is one of these mods I've got. I'm not sure which one it is. Or is it UFR? This is the cool one. We're going to use this soon. There's one where there is a way of making a pile of stuff. This is not the one I'm thinking of. Is it Rico? Eco assets. Yeah, it's this one. So what I want is... Well, there's a feed trough. That's even better. So we'll put that there and that there, and that can go over there. And what I'm looking for, accessories? No. So down the bottom, I believe, is under pile style. Here we go. So we need to get the pile happening. So pile, object type pile, but then we have to choose assorted objects at the top. So it's like other objects. Yep. And then under other objects, we chose a pile. And then under a pile, we're going to choose, I'm going to choose straw. And does this have scaling? It does. Ha 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 ha. Perfect. So we'll put that in there. Thank you, LMP Rico. You're the best. We have got to do all the animated stuff. This has the ability to actually set up full harvester runs. And so I think that would look completely awesome. And so we want waste. Yeah, I think that's enough fun with that. All right. So we need something in here. So under, I think under Mad Hatter, we've kind of, oh, it's a big size stack. Okay, let's bring that down to 70. Yeah, and then I'm actually going to delete those, and we'll put in some fully tarped ones at the back here. So like these are being unwrapped and they're ready for use. Milk stuff, silage green, black, a chimney, no, feed trough. So feed trough maybe, but it's going to be hard to get it right. I think Mad Hatter has done us proud and there's not much left to do. This is a good way of getting a gate. And so I am tempted to put one there because I think I'm going to make a walking track through there. And that road looks like it's a little bit south of that track. You see how there's a gap there? So let's bring that up a bit. And there we go. That fixes that. Now I could just painted that. Alright, Mad Hatter's been done. Alright, last person, power poles. Rico we just did a couple of things with. I believe the last person who could help us, I think, apart from gates and everything else, I don't think anything else is here really going to help. This is the SNCF stuff. I think the last person to help us is Ingo, of course. Ingo is the king of little assets, and I think what I want is something, well, it's things like filling system, ledge antenna, caravan, fridge, waste container, haystacks. I don't know whether a haystack would make sense. Put them out there anyway. Small bridge, Alpine cross. I do like the Alpine cross. I like putting that in every once in a while. Let's put it. No, this maybe later. Yeah, so plants, no. So what we're looking for, I don't think it's going to come under the farm area. This is a good dung heap asset. I'm actually going to fill that in there, and you'll actually see some look, some smell come up. So that's kind of good. You'll see it from the train. And it's tempting to do it a little bit there, just so it has a little bit of animation. Yeah, maybe a little bit too much. All right. We want, this is all alpine stuff, greenhouse stuff, and this one. This one has a lovely large barn, but I think it's a little bit too modern for what we're doing. And then we've got some barns. This one's a little bit too simple for my liking. It is for this situation. I do like the Great Hall. We tend to use that in a public spot. So like over, if I can find it. Yeah, right here. So whenever I want to make a little public area where people may gather, I put this Great Hall down, put a whole lot of cars around it, a little bit of pallets and stuff. This pallet mod came out this week. It's the middle of September 2025. If you look up pallet, it just came out. That's really good. So I've been placing them around. This is the pallets I had before, and I think these ones look way better. Yeah, a couple of little cranes and barrels and stuff like that, and before you know it, you got a nice little community area based on the big hall. And then when I was putting those pallets down, I also shoved down this church asset that we've used lots of time and sprinkled a whole lot of gravel around. So yeah, I do like using that asset for there. Oh, look at this. This looks good. We need to paint it though. Anyway, so that's what the Great Hall is good for. An empty hall. This is more like a concrete thing. I think it looks a little bit a bit more, nuclear bunker for my looking. But then we do have these nice hanger ones. Now, obviously, that's very very plainy. But I do like the idea of these. So I think I can say, so if I say inhabited, people will actually come and visit. And so we'll actually get people who will drive here and treat this as a job. And so I think 3 looks pretty good. And then what we'll do is we'll shove a whole lot of these things. We're trying to work out my German. We'll shove a whole lot of that in there. And then who had the black ones? I forget. So we'll just do this. And all of those kind of peeking out the window. And so they're being stores. So that's just good, the food stores. It's going to make it so that a couple of angles can see it. All right, let's get this road through. I'm deliberately, now I know that there's the chance of people visiting. I'll definitely give them a real road so they can traverse in. And we will finish it off by giving them a way in and a bit of tree action over there. Never hurt. And yeah, I like it. All right, so let's fill it in where we haven't got stuff. So it's like there. Don't take out my building, please. I think we can do we need one more building here? I think something like somewhere for these people to park their cars, maybe, would be good. So, Ingo, what have you got? So, oh, what are you? Okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So, let's turn it this way. And it's like a horse shed. And what I will do is I have a road, this one-way road. I'm actually going to run it through. And that will actually cause people to actually drive through and use that horse thing. That looks pretty good. All right. We're up to the end bit. We are about to do a whole lot of painting. Let's work out how this should be. We'll start with gravel around here because it kind of makes sense. And do I need to do some smoothing? I don't think so. I think it's okay. Bit of gravel around here. I think I am going to put a car or two around. And so we'll give me some random stuff. That can go there. And trucks and something like that. And then back to road stuff. And I think that looks pretty good. And then I think I might go a little bit more closer to the dirt color for these. Quite strong, I think. Actually, what I'm actually going to fade that around the edge. And then that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. We'll do pebbles all around there. And then we'll go for some plant life right there. Yeah, looks good. And all right, so keep on going, don't I? All right, let's be a little bit more surgical here and get some ballast situation going, because that kind of makes sense. Way too big. Actually, I might unpaint that. That's a bit ludicrous up there. And right hand side is ballast. And that tree, don't press V, press B. There, and then keep going. Oops, wrong button. I have so many keybinds. Yeah, rather than having the numbers go to specific menus down the bottom, I actually have them go into specific roles. So like this is 1, this is 2, you can see the square brackets. And so that's how I can jump. So I want a straight road, I want a straight road 1. I want a curve road, won't let me do a curve, but yeah, I want to build a building, I want to put down railway track. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how I dance around. And then 6 is painting. All right, Ingo, I think you are going to be the person is going to be my champion here. So a lot of these come from Ingo's new Texture EX mod that just came out. And I think one of these at the end here, I think is what we're going to use for the majority of the floor. I think pebbles is not really what I want. I think this one might be it. Yeah, this is going to be what I want. So we'll go quite strong. And then we will pave wherever the cows are going to be, which is most of that area and most of that area. And we'll be a little bit more surgical in doing there. Do I want to go in there? Yeah, I think I do. But very, very sparingly. We'll make that 100% neat and tidy in the middle there. And definitely a bit more there. And what I want to do is give it like a dirty manure look. And the way I'm going to do that is some of these dirt ones. And so if I sprinkle this round, you can see how it has a little... actually, I'll go in photo mode so you can really see it. It's got this water effect. And so it's kind of like got that mucky manure look to it. So I'm going to sprinkle that around. Is that our... Yeah, that's our... Whatever that was, it was a little hill there. So this one's the new one. It's a lot more watery. You can see how it's got big water patches to it. So I don't think that's too useful for, unless you put it out like here on the verges, like where there's maybe some water pooling for some reason. So that's kind of works there because it kind of fades in, that it's kind of like flooding in. So I think that looks quite good, but definitely gonna have to be used a little bit sparingly. I think this dirt one probably does a better job. So let's make the brush pretty big. I'm going to go back and do this one. And now let's just sprinkle in this. And so it's like the guys have definitely destroyed the pit, and it's still a little bit too barren. I think Ingo has this one right at the front, the dry meadow. I think it's a good way of giving us a little bit of an overgrown. Oh, that's a bit much. Whoa. I messed that up. All right, let's go back to where we were. So it was this one. Oh, that was actually interesting. I like that one maybe more than this one. Which one do I prefer? Which one are we using? Are we using this one? No, I think this darker one's better. Is it this one? Yeah, let's change to this one. Everywhere. Yeah, it's a little bit darker. I think it's got more of a messy look to it. And yeah. Yeah, I think that looks maybe a little bit better. Yeah, it doesn't actually have to be exactly the same everywhere. And yeah, this needs a lot more fences and stuff to kind of like show where the cows are getting pushed around. How are we going for time? Oh, we are going long. But we're enjoying ourselves, and that's the important thing. So a little bit of detritus. What I might do is just kind of maybe focus it on one corner. Yeah, this is definitely one of those do it sparingly things. I'm going for where the troughs are, because that's probably where they're going to hang out a bit more and destroy it a little bit more. Which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah. And then we'll just do the dirt one. Too much. I keep on getting that wrong. It's the one with the moss on it. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good. I mean, it's not a boring, grassy. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah. I think I might be doing a little bit too much now. Yeah, I like the idea of it maybe getting a little bit flooded in here. And I think that's it for texturing. I will super sparingly put some stuff around. So this really low level plant life kind of makes it look like it's all mucky. Especially in parts where maybe there's not much foot traffic. Yeah. I mean, obviously you can play with this a fair bit. All right, last things first. Last things last. Let's get some assets into here. Random rotation. Let's go. Let's probably go pretty high here. I think I'm gonna go, in the pretty full realm. This down here gives us rotation and scaling, so it kind of makes it look a little bit more natural. I'm gonna make a little area in the middle where for some reason they're not hanging out, and that one got kind of glitched, and these two are very repetitive. Make it so that it's obvious that they're eating. And we ended up with two troughs in this place by accident. And Yeah, okay. And then let's do that again, and then we'll just do, what do we have here? Let's do Hereford. And so which pen do we want to do? Let's do maybe the 2 in the middle. And okay, this guy can be eating, this guy can be eating, this guy can be eating. And then I'm going to rotate one more. I think that looks pretty awesome. All right, we haven't got any trains here, and you know, it's probably another half an hour of me futzing with this, quite frankly. I'm going to continue to have fun with it. Do we want to represent that maybe stuff's going up into here? I don't know what happens from an animation point of view. I don't know when the cows go onto the platform, whether this Mad Hatter cow asset actually draws stuff on it. We'll find out, I guess. So the plan is to bring a cow train into here, and then we'll bring a wheat train into here. And the idea is that they're unloading hay bales and stuff like that, and that's going over here. And then it needs to somehow go across into the yard. It is very tempting to put a real crossing here. And yeah, and then what we'll do is we'll change that just to posts. And I think that looks good. And then we obviously need some type of gates and stuff, but yeah, risky, all this red stuff, I probably will repeat it around here for a very strong edge. And I'm actually tempted to make it so that there's a very narrow road. This single lane dirt track is particularly useful for these smaller areas. Come on, you can do it. But yeah, if it's going to do that, I might as well just draw it. All right. I am happy with that. Let's do some Alt-G action, get rid of the UI. And yeah, I'm happy with that diorama-esque type thing that we've made. I'm actually quite happy that we brought the production over to this end of the map rather than having it in the middle. I think it's going to be a lot of fun seeing all this wheat come in and then the livestock go out. I really wanted to make this yard have a bit of a thoroughfare through it. And yeah, I did add this track on the left-hand side to give it another U-turn spot. This is not designed to be the through track. The through track still at the right-hand side. That's the one where people should be using it. And then this is all basically a gated area of security, which we need to put fences in and everything else. I don't know about the track over here being rusty. I might flip that out to normal and just leave this spur line as single track. Definitely going to keep this as single track. There's no way. There's no reason to do anything else. We'll let everybody wait in the station if there's a conflict. I think from an up and down point of view, we do have some trouble. Should we fix that before we head off? Yeah, we should. All right, after futzing with that for way too long, it actually took about 5 minutes to get that right. I didn't realize that this was so low. You can see actually how it's got a dip now. And so I had to pull it back to there, rejoin it, and then the other major problem was just trying to get this right across where the points were. So I've just made it come in the other side, which I think probably makes more sense anyhow. So yeah, we'll call that the end of the episode. We got there in the end as far as the train line is concerned. A bit of smoothing there will actually justify itself. And yeah, we'll definitely call it the end of the episode. Don't forget to press subscribe. If you've watched this far, definitely press a like on the video. And if you have any ideas on how to bring this more to life and also how you want the meatpacking place to be done, definitely shove a comment on the video and I will definitely read that. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time in the errors.